Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sith Council. I'm Kristian Harloff. Thank you for joining us here today on this Friday. If you didn't know already, obviously you did. If you're here, thank you for joining us on the new channel, the new SEN channel. 10.1 thousand subscribers so far. Built that up pretty big because of you guys. Thank you so much. And obviously the podcast feed. Make sure you're checking that out as well. There will be a full-on spoiler review of episode 11 of the Bad Batch. We're going to break that down in just a moment. And we'll be talking about Patty Jenkins, a little bit more detail on the Rogue Squadron movie. And then they have some of the directors for Boba Fett. So I think that's a lot to talk about today. And to break it down with me, as always, look at this character, Jimmy Chicks.
It's me.
I like that. No, it's not. No,
There we go. Amateur hour over here. Hello.
Say what?
I'm just making sure my shot. Oh.
He wasn't even. You weren't even looking at the camera.
I'm just making sure my shirt isn't shot.
It looks good. It looks good. Yeah, this is Mike Kalinowski, obviously, everybody. And
right.
Steph Sabra.
What are you showing there? What is going on there?
I think we got her mid-adjust.
If you
move
her camera up a little bit, it looks like she's not wearing anything.
Happy Friday!
What I liked
what
I liked about what she did right there, by the way, is that she just embraced, like, the shot changed.
Yeah.
And so instead of going, oops, she just like went right into it. Like, so that's what you got to do.
You got to move into it.
I'm going to make my shirt into one of those, a hot crop top. I think I'd look good in it.
I think so.
I got good pecs for that.
It'll do wonders for you. So anyway, thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for joining us. So let's talk about episode 11.
Let's talk about it.
I really liked this episode a lot. I thought that it obviously for those people that were Rebels fans, because Mike even came in and said, well, so she was in.
So I knew the name. I was like, oh, Harrison.
Yeah.
And then I think Laura Kelly tweeted out, like, obviously this is my favorite episode because I know she loves the character.
And she was mentioned in Rogue One too.
She was. When they're all getting ready to battle, you hear her name called, and then you actually see Chopper in Rogue One also. He goes by, but Vanessa Marshall, who voiced her, voices the character in this one too. And Freddie Prinze Jr. is my boy. But Freddie Prinze Jr. sounded like Freddie Prinze Jr. of today when he voiced like 10-year-old Caleb in the beginning.
Yeah,
it sounded like Freddie today.
It's tough to do.
It's very hard to do. But like, she did not.
No.
Yeah. She sounded like a young kid. Plus, what I really liked what they did, they kept her with the accent. And because her accent is not there during Rebels, but it reminds me, like, my accent
when you're back with your family.
Living in New York, it was a lot thicker when I was younger, right? And when I lived there, and then once you live somewhere else and you start going to other places, that goes away, and that's certainly what happened with her.
Yeah, I wonder if that's one of those things, because she is a voice actress, and Freddie Prinze Jr. is an actor, and different skill sets, and different. She's probably trained herself to be able to do that and be able to tone her voice down to a younger version of herself, or it shows her talent.
Yeah, but I think just the fact that she lost her accent was pretty great.
Yeah.
What did you think about the episode stuff?
I thought it was so good. I'm curious what people who didn't watch Rebels or even Clone Wars thought, but for me and the prequels, like the call to it with the senator, Tar, is that his name?
Ta.
Right? Yeah.
He was in last Sith, Revenge of the Sith. That guy.
Yeah, same awful gluttonous.
Gluttonous.
Once you're done with this, I want to get into some spoilers about that because I want to get your opinions on what you think happened to him at the end, and I have theories.
Yeah, I definitely have thoughts on that. But I think this episode shows that Star Wars is moving in the direction that we want, which is kind of an interconnected universe on the timeline. So anything around this timeline, you're so rewarded if you've watched Rebels, if you watch Clone Wars, if you've read the books. There was calls to every sort of Star Wars franchise in this episode.
Yeah, there was, for sure. And I think that absolutely, because it ties in immediately, because even if you're a Clone Wars person, didn't watch Rebels, then you know Cham Sundala, because he's in a lot of those episodes. He's also in Rebels. He's more synced up to the Lords of the Sith novel, which is what I wanted to bring up. Because the Lords of the Sith novel, it was, when it came out, one of my favorite novels in the Star Wars universe. It was one of the first canon novels that also came out, and it takes place 5 years after Revenge of the Sith. And it's what's so great about it, like Darth Vader and Palpatine get like stuck on this planet, and they have to like fight out together, Palpatine and Vader together, right? But same time, Cham is fighting for the resistance, and so I
on that same planet.
Yeah. So what I said was, when I was watching this, because I was texting back and forth with Alex Damon, right? Yeah. And I was in my head, I'm going, I thought it was like 5 years later when that takes place. So yeah, it makes sense that he's still when this starts with he's kind of on board with the Empire because he doesn't want it. But by 5 years later, but Ta's in the book, so he's not dead unless they're retconning it, because when he gets shot in the head, you're like, oh, well, that's going to negate the whole book. But then the Imperial says the attempted assassination. It doesn't say that he was assassinated. It says attempted assassination.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they just didn't shoot him in the chest. He goes, and then okay, he's still alive.
It looked like it was pretty much dead in the head. He was dead in the head. Shooting him, right? So it's like...
But weren't they using the blaster that just disarmed? I feel like all of the troopers were being, even when
well, that's the blue.
Yeah, the blue. That was different.
This was a red shot, right?
Yeah, but his crosshairs, being the shot that he is, could easily shoot him in a way that wouldn't kill him. So they could explain it like he knew precisely how to shoot him and where to shoot him if they go into that detail.
Well, because he's in the book.
Yeah, so maybe that's why.
If he's dead, then the book is negated. And I don't think they're going to do that. And I think that that's the reason why that they said attempted assassination.
I got a dumb question. This is going to be, I'm today years old when I found this out. The gluttonous, what's his name? Ta.
Yeah.
Is he a Twi'lek?
Twi'lek?
Yeah.
Is that what they look like when they just get
gain
really
weight?
Fat?
Yeah.
Because I thought Bib Fortuna in Mandalorian at the end, that's what they look like. They get fat. They just get big jowly. But he is a Twi'lek, right?
Yeah. They're all from...
It's blew my mind. I'm just figuring that out now. I was like,
from Harloff.
How did I not put that two and two together?
That he was. It happens.
Well, he looks so. I mean, he looks like he's been swimming in water.
It looks ridiculous.
Yeah,
like
his hands.
He's a gluttonous sloth.
Yeah, but Bib Fortuna was too, and he just got like the big old jowl.
Hey, different bodies. You know what I mean?
All right, that's Star Wars.
Know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's true. So Steph and I have been watching a lot of Sopranos, so you're gonna hear that. Forget about it.
You hear me?
Don't worry about it.
You know what I mean?
How
you doing?
Good over there.
God. It's like all I'm speaking right now is Italian.
You want to go good Italian? Watch My Cousin Vinny.
No.
You with the Secasuds, the Gambini.
Secasuds. People. Yeah, we talked about that. How everybody who tries to do a New York accent just tries to impersonate Marissa Tomei, and it's like, no, she can do that. You stop that.
Yeah, you stop that.
You stop that. But this episode, I thought had a lot of, even the one thing though, when Cham's guys go out to go get the weapons from,
that was
the
so
Bad
good.
Batch.
So cool.
It was. The only question I had though is they just had this guy does not trust the Imperials. He doesn't trust clones. These clones just get...
Which guy doesn't trust him? The
Cham's
I got it right
guy,
here. I had the Oli Gooli.
Yeah, Uli Gooli. Yeah.
Gobioli.
Gobioli.
Is that Gobioli or Gobi Glee? My eyes keep Gobi Glee.
Gobi Glee.
I like Gobioli.
Gobioli is pretty good.
Gobioli's
but Gobi Glee.
Yeah, he didn't trust the clones, so here's the clones.
The clones come in. They're like, all right, yeah, go on.
Thanks to the blasters and the detonators.
But then Hera says, I'm going to go on the ship. And he's like, nah, all right, go ahead.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? It's like,
but I will say that was awesome. It was her going on the ship and the whole about flying. Yeah, buttons are cool and all, but you got to feel it. It's like
the scene itself with what's her face Omega was fine.
Yeah,
was fine. That was great. The
but
dialogue.
The premise.
It's just the idea of it wasn't even a question of like, because they weren't working with them. I thought that they were the contact. And the other question is, why are they still doing jobs for her
when
if
she paid her off?
The debt's paid off.
Yeah.
Do you think? Well, no, that's
what
I know. A lot of times in animation back in the day, episodes would air out of order. But I don't think this would have happened with this.
No, not with this one. No, they're not doing it.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Unless that was the last one. Unless that was the last. But I was confused about that too because they did specifically say she paid off your debt. You're done here. But I loved the her relationship.
Could it be because they are trying to help? They knew it was something that could help the rebellion. Like,
maybe.
All right, we got to do
like
this.
One last job.
Well,
or something.
after last episode, when I think all of them started questioning their alliance and like who they're going to be with, and now they're more towards the rebellion.
These outer planets and setting up the rebellion, and we saw it like a couple episodes ago with the rebellion. Or was it last episode?
The last episode.
There's pockets.
I love that.
Yeah, there's these pockets of that eventually start to form. And that's why I immediately went into Lords of the Sith, because that's 5 years later and Cham's like full on fighting. The question is, yet again is how does he get out? And I assume this is a 2-part episode, obviously, so I assume Hera's going to break her parents out of jail.
Yeah.
Is his wife still alive in that 5 books?
Yeah,
because I was like, ooh, that could happen.
I don't remember. I don't think so.
The wife does die in... I forget where.
That's
the wife does, and that's what sends Hera off to the rebellion.
Okay.
Ooh.
And then the dad stays and does his own thing.
So that must be So the answer to your question, I read the book so long ago. I don't remember her in it, but that's not to say that she's not. It's just it was one of the first novels in the new canon that I read. I loved it. It's Paul S. Kemp. It's a great novel.
Not Drew Karpyshyn? I just love hearing you say that name.
You know, he didn't write any canon. He didn't write any canon novels.
Hey, all right.
He needs to.
He's a non-canon guy.
I think the mom's gonna die because if you just look at the dialogue,
it just adds better storytelling to the two of them.
and how she was the one warning.
Not
like, at what cost are we giving away our freedom?
It gives more motivation.
There's an arc to it, but so all that, and then obviously the Bad Batch is going to get involved more in the second one. That's what I really dug about it, because this one does, as Steph was saying, reward the Rebels and Clone Wars fans, because when you're watching it in the beginning, you know right away who it is. You know, like when I saw Cham, I'm like, okay, I knew right away. And then when they mentioned Hera, I was like, oh, you're going to see Hera. Yeah. And then she shows up. Like, oh, this is an episode about Hera. This is cool. And you don't, as those fans, you're relying on that audience, the Rebels and the Clone Wars audience, to say, okay, we don't need to see the Bad Batch. Now the Bad Batch audience, like yourself, you're now tuning in. It was still interesting.
No, I didn't care.
Right.
I knew Hera. I knew who the character was. I knew eventually I'll get to meet her eventually. So I was like, oh, this can be interesting. I was like, oh, the Batch isn't showing up at all.
Right.
They were kind of ancillary, and I was like, I didn't mind. I didn't care. I didn't care.
Yeah,
because Cham was such a great character.
Right.
Yeah.
And Uli Guli.
And they waited enough episodes that the audience now trusts them. So if they did this episode in the first few episodes, you'd be like, who's the story about? But now you trust that this is a setup for the future. Yeah,
because they've also set it up that when they do show up in that scene, that you're like, oh, well, there they are. And you don't need them for this episode. They'll be back, and they're establishing this relationship already between Omega and Hera. And with that there was like that reminiscent scene of when she's looking off into the sky of like Luke Skywalker in episode 4, and the music, it's not the same music, but it's reminiscent of the same music of when Luke
she's
looking at binary sunset. I heard that and I was like, oh, it was such a great shot. And what struck me this episode was so beautiful is when the Bad Batch and the guys are buying the weapons, and they flew off the planet. It was such a great shot. You saw the planet in the back. You saw Ryloth in the background. It was like gorgeous.
I think this was the most beautifully animated episode.
It really was. It was very noticeable how much it was. Yeah, it was. And the voice acting has been just so great in this series. And I think that by the way that they set this up, obviously a nice 2-parter. They did this a lot in Clone Wars. They did it a lot in Rebels. And I don't know if they've done it yet in this series. If they haven't, a
2-parter?
Yeah, 2-parter. No, I haven't. Right.
So it's all been kind of. But I don't think was this supposed to be a 2-parter? It just feels like all 16 are going to be.
This is going to be a 2-parter for sure. I think they're going to spend.
You
a lot
think
of
there's
time.
more on Ryloth again?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think so, because you got to figure out what happens to Cham.
This was 11.
This was number 11.
So we've got
what do we say?
12, I think 16.
16.
On IMDb it's 16.
Yeah.
So
which is
we got 5 more.
Yeah, and then
but one thing I was really excited about is that Hera works with Kanan in the future, and then that ties into the first episode of why we saw him. So perhaps we'll see him again and at Hera meet up.
Well, that would also negate, if that's the case. So that would negate a novel, because New Dawn, which was the first canon novel that came out, you see how they meet.
Was there what time? At what point in the Star Wars, not universe, but in canon, non-canon with the books? What year was that? Was it 2015 that they
when
said
they came out? No, it was 20. Well, when they decided to do that, it was right after they bought it out. So
between 14 is when they bought it, or
2012 is when they bought it. So 2012 is when they bought it. Around 2013, around that time is when they made the announcement. Because I was doing Far, Far Away at the time. The show. And Tiffany and I were talking about it. 2014 was when they announced New Dawn,
and that's the first.
That was the first canon novel, and it was about Kanan. I think that novel would, because I remember a lot of people reading and going, it was just okay, because nobody knew Kanan yet. Nobody knew Hera. Nobody
came out even before Rebels?
It came out like right around the time that Rebels hadn't even been released yet. It just got released. So people didn't really know him yet. It was the introduction on how they got how you meet them.
And people didn't even like Rebels for a few years.
Yeah, so if people go back now after knowing Kanan and Hera now, I think that novel hits a lot harder than it did back then. Because I remember so many people saying...
Because I know Clone Wars, when I started watching it, people you got to give it 2 to 3 seasons. Wait about season 3, Mike, and then it takes off. Yeah. But Rebels, because I went on Far, Far Away a lot with you and John a lot and Tiffany. So I watched it from the beginning. I was hooked from the beginning on Rebels. Right. It didn't need a warm-up.
So you finished all of Rebels?
No, I didn't get all the way through it.
Okay.
No,
I know Hera then.
But I know who she is. Yeah. So that's what I knew. But it's been 5 years, 6 years.
Right.
But I was like, that's why when she showed up, I was like, and I was like, I always have to look back. It's like, oh wait, this is years before. Doesn't look like I'm always kind of playing catch up on these things.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I'm old. It happens.
No, it happens for sure. But I think that that's why for New Dawn they did show this setup where because he Kanan, that is, shuts off the Force, doesn't want anything to do with it. He's not in a, I mean, similar to what Luke did, but he's more like a drunk. He's going more towards the criminal aspect, and then he winds up meeting her, and he's straight up cowboy, you know. So I don't think that they're going to meet, but I've also stayed true to this thought. I don't think Filoni cares too much about the novels. Yeah. I don't. I just, and what I mean by that is not that he disrespects any of the writers or anything that came by. I just think that he plays more into the animated, the live action movies and TV. That to him is his canon, and for him, if he changes a few things here and there that don't line up with the books, he goes, let them deal with it. There's just going to be a pocket of people. I don't love that as the person who's read a handful of the books, but I get it on a certain aspect because for people who didn't read New Dawn, it doesn't.
People
doesn't
talk about and with Black Widow out now, people talk about the MCU doing what it does and it's incredible. It's like it is, but Star Wars.
They're doing some stuff now.
MCU has got movies and now dabbling in TV,
right?
Because they, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that doesn't connect. We said it did, but it doesn't. But like Star Wars has been comics, books, movies, TV shows, animated, and it's all trying to blend together. So
now it is, though.
Yeah.
Now
but
it is.
Still,
it was being kind of.
But you have fans of all those things that they could go, well, it could connect.
Yes, but what they did.
It's fascinating. It took him
since 2004. Well, not 14 if you want to include Clone Wars, obviously 2008. But from 2008, and then when they really started to play into the whole canon, 2014 with Rebels came out or whatever. It took them a while from now until then to start doing all that, and it also took Filoni and Favreau to film that, to form that bond and to get that trust from Lucasfilm, because clearly with Filoni's new role that he's got, and that's why I think it's starting to sync up a lot more than it did in the past, because we'll get into the Patty Jenkins story, and I think some people are going to, because I certainly did, when you read the headline at first, and we'll talk about it in a moment, but it's Patty Jenkins was told that she can pretty much tell the story whatever she wants to tell. I think it's kind of a headline that you're like, uh-oh, is this another Rian Johnson thing? But when you hear the context of her, what she's saying there, you shouldn't get nervous. But anyway, so this episode was great. It's funny because I think it plays back when you and I watched that first episode when Kanan shows up. It's like, okay, this can tie in anything. And it's going just to your point, what you just said. And that's what this did, because there's so much more to it. It's filming these pockets of the rebellion.
I don't see why I want to say it should be even easier. Like MCU, it's Earth. We got the galaxy, but it's one little area. Like Star Wars is massive. So if you're doing a TV show, it can be in the same world. And you don't have to reference it in everything you do, but it's there to not. And for people like, we negate that. Like, you don't need to.
Right. You don't need
to. It can be there.
Well, that's why I don't understand.
You could kind of say, hey, these characters are hands off. You can't include them.
Right. But this dude who gets shot in the head at the end. That's why I'm glad that they said attempted assassination, because it's like if you do kill him, then you have negated the books.
Yeah.
It's like, why
he was assassinated. It wasn't attempted.
For an unnecessary reason. There's so many ways to.
Could have done something else to it.
And it's Crosshair's doing the shooting, so I'm just saying.
Well, Crosshair couldn't have missed again because he missed Omega in like the third episode.
Don't forget, I hurt my eyes in the last episode.
His head's messed up.
Yeah. I'm not feeling as well as I used to.
Every villain has a big scar like that. Yeah. So
that's how you got to know they're bad. Yeah. Either a mustache or a scar.
Yeah. Or half face, whatever. Joker scars.
Yeah.
Sure.
But how long do you think the chip is going to stop working eventually? Because it's been quite some time since Order 66.
I don't think so. I think it's one of those programs that they even the Emperor would make sure it works indefinitely. You know,
coming back.
That crosshair, we don't need him waking up. So I think that I don't think that's going to wear out, but I do think there's going to be they're going to address it, either whether they try to get it out of him or you know, we have to get in this arc where this is the type of side mission, by the way, that has just happened that is relevant to all of it. Like this is like a side they show up for like 2 seconds. This is a lot different than, you know, even the spider episode on Mandalorian,
right.
which we like, but this is very different because this, as you mentioned before, Mike, is starting to put together those pockets of the rebellion that ultimately it's great.
Yeah, I think
I thought it was like, what are you gonna do with the crate of blasters? That's it.
Wait, Steph, go ahead.
This show is doing such a good job of integrating politics and the political climate and in its dialogue that's in a way that moves with the plot really well. But I also wonder, what is it Hauser? If Hauser...
Doogie?
With the clone, Doogie.
The captain guy,
If he's gonna switch sides, because it seemed like he was getting a little bit.
Yes, but you're just asking for as far as Chip goes, right?
Yeah,
Captain Hauser.
Yeah,
Captain Hauser. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, who?
I like that character.
I like him
Same.
too.
I like that character.
Was he in the Clone Wars? I don't remember.
I don't remember him, but he feels like a Captain Rex type where he will question authority.
And he might also, because if he wasn't, he might eat it in the next episode too.
I think it's so funny because they're like, oh man, we got to do another one of these guys and we got to make them look different. They've had so many of those through so many books and games and everything, but they keep doing it and you keep like, he has distinct personality.
He's got a scar on his face. He's not a bad guy.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
It's true.
But I liked his allegiance. He's like, all right, man, I'm not going to tell this time, but you can't be having her go again. You can't have her out there again.
Well, and we haven't really mentioned much of, because Dave Filoni is in this episode. He's Chopper. He's done Chopper's voice, and they still bill him as himself Chopper. Like, and they still don't give Filoni his
no credit on it.
He doesn't want it, but Chopper being in there, Chopper's less grouchy in this one. He's not as banged up, you know. So she's had him for a long time. I didn't realize how long she's had him for.
Yeah, that is true. I've totally forgot about that.
Not like Anakin, just leaving his droids everywhere.
Yeah,
you forgot about Chopper?
Yeah.
Well, Chopper, I mean, because he does show up. He's been with her forever. He does show up in Rogue One.
Yeah.
He is in, I mean, he's the majority of Rebels. He's like the grouchy R2-D2.
Totally.
Yeah.
Your grandpa R2-D2.
That's all right.
I kind of, and it was blasphemy, I enjoy Chopper sometimes more so than I do R2-D2, because if you look at R2-D2 was rendered kind of obsolete in the new trilogy.
Yeah,
and that
he just ran it. He became Deus
let's hit him enough time so he turns back on.
What are we gonna do with R2? Let's just say he's been sleeping.
And the Rogue One cameo, I was like, where are they going? I'm like,
all right,
they don't need to be in every film.
Well,
they don't need to be.
Well, no. If you're gonna do that, then put them in every film because they weren't in Solo, and they could have been in Solo.
Like a Stan Lee
How would they have been in Solo?
They could have figured it out. At one point,
could have.
I like the idea that they were the only characters that were in every movie, and
Except Solo,
and then they weren't in Solo.
That's a good trivia question. I don't know.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, because they were in every. They were in everything in the new trilogy, right? They were in all. They were on all
pointlessly in all three of those new trilogies.
Yes, all the prequels they were in, and then
made sense in the prequels.
Yeah, and the original. Well, didn't. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, I know.
So, by the way, and just it does remind me, because we're going to be going into a after the Clone Wars, or not Clone Wars, but the Bad Batch is over with, we're going to have a little bit of a downtime from watching anything until Boba Fett comes out. So, Steph and I were talking about it. I'm sure Mike's already done this anyway. But what we're going to do is
that's all we got next is Boba.
Boba. I mean, you got the
Star Wars Visions, which I'm going to be watching for sure.
Wow, it's canon. Right. They said it's not canon, I think, too.
Boba's the one that then it kicks off like bang, bang, bang for a while.
Yes.
Okay.
So what Steph and I were talking about, and Mike's, because of his inner geekdom, has probably already done this. We wanted to start doing some rewatches of the movies and kind of breaking them down like per episode, right? So I think that'd
be great.
I think that after we can start from 1 all the way through 9 and do it that way and see, and then maybe that'll be like 9 episodes, or plus Rogue One and Solo
11.
Yeah, so
Clone Wars 12.
But the Clone Wars is also part of the actual.
You just don't
want
to watch that again.
No, you know what's funny about that?
Let me tell you something about that.
Here we go.
Yeah. No matter how many times I've had to watch that for IG, it's the only film, and there's a handful in different genres of Marvel, DC. It doesn't stick with me. It doesn't stick.
You don't remember?
I don't remember certain things. And it's an hour and a half long. Like, how am I not remembering? I can remember 4 hours Lord of the Rings director's cuts.
Because you're not. Because of Clone Wars, the series, though. I'll tell you, when I rewatched the Clone Wars series and added that in as like a longer episode, it plays better.
I'm not saying it.
No, I know, but as far as just sticking with you, But I don't mind that. Well, I used to rank it as like, this is terrible. I don't rank it as a terrible movie anymore because I think it's just it's an episode of the show, and I understand the show more and where the progression of the show goes.
I think it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I don't.
And it's got great sound, by the way. I put it on back here with the sound bar, and the sound design in that episode or that movie is great and not really talked about.
I saw that in the theater back in 2008.
I did too, and I was
kind of like, it's Star Wars.
I did not like it when I saw it, but
you were an elitist at the time, probably with Star Wars.
No, not at all. I mean, I was hopeful. I just this was 3 years after Sith, and I was like, okay, here we go. What do we got? I'm like, they're talking about this guy. Who's this guy with the cowboy hat? Who is that guy? And then
who is this cowboy?
But when he showed up, and I remember saying, like, when he walked out, I went to the premiere of that thing, and I look out and I go, that guy just ruined it. He ruined it all.
Did you say that out loud? Like,
no,
that's him.
No, I wouldn't do
that. He ruined it.
No.
And Filoni's like,
and I was just like, this. I'm like, this is not. I'm like, this is where Star Wars is going. Like, I'm good. And then Ken Knapsack started watching Clone Wars. He's like, you got to watch it. And I'm like, dude, I saw the movie. It's terrible. And he goes, watch the show. It gets better. There's a lot. He goes, there's a couple episodes that are similar to that, but it gets better. And I watched it. I was like, you're right. It's just pretty good.
Clone Wars is so beloved. That show by people now.
It's great.
It's really good.
It is. It's really good.
I'm in that downtime of like, all right, these got to start kicking up for me.
There are definitely.
Are you watching them in canon in
I'm trying to watch them in order.
Okay.
Yeah. I went season 1.
Some episodes
it's taking
are
a little while
to
get through. Oh no, I'm not watching them.
You're not watching chronological order.
No, I'm watching.
You got to watch it chronologically.
In season.
You got to watch it chronologically.
Yeah.
So that means I'm going to watch great ones and then go to crappy ones and then great ones again.
So chronologically, they have like, I think you can go to IGN or wherever they have a full list, right? Yeah. And it's weird. Like season 3 is like the second or third episode as far as I don't know why. I figure someone gave me the reason of why they did it. And it made sense. I think it was production-wise on how they did it and how they were putting it together. And I said, "Oh, is that why they did it?" And I've totally forgotten why.
You should do it.
That's why they did it. Oh.
Yeah.
All right,
but anyway, we're going to be watching. We're going to be watching the movies. So you should.
That'll be fun.
Definitely join us on those episodes. We'll start with Phantom Menace, and we'll go all the way through until we hit Rise of Skywalker. So, and then by then, that'll be like 11 weeks. So maybe it ties in. Maybe we get to the whole thing.
We've got 5 more episodes of this.
Right.
11 of that. 12 of that. That's 17 weeks. 4 months.
Yeah.
That will almost bring right into that.
That'd be. I haven't done a full rewatch in so long.
Yeah. So it'll be fun.
I have
probably
several times.
I'm sure you have.
God. But it'll be good. It'll be a good fresher. I got, hopefully defend the belt next and defend it again and defend it again. And this will help me win.
Again and again.
Well, you know what's funny about that is because this will be, I can say this now, by the time that this airs today, not only is the Schmodown Spectacular, that's already out there. Schmodown Spectacular is out there, ladies and gentlemen. Tickets are on sale December 4th. We're almost sold out already. So if you're going to be in the Los Angeles area, it's going to be a massive party. Steph will be there. Mike will be there. The whole crew.
Is it really a thing if I'm not there? Let's be honest. Yeah. Come on now.
Fair enough.
Come on.
But we will all be there. Schmodownlive.com. Get your tickets. If you've never been to a Schmodown, if you don't know what it is, I don't know. I don't really watch Schmodown. I just come here for the Star Wars stuff. Check out the Schmodown. Be there. Hang out with us. Watch the matches. You will fall in love with it. There will be a Star Wars title match on the line. All of the titles will be on the line. There will be so many special guests. A lot of fun. Great moments. Big announcements. And it's going to be at the Globe Theater in downtown Los Angeles. Excited for it. The other thing I can announce, I don't have the artwork for it at the moment. But speaking of the cantina, the Star Wars cantina, Scum and Villainy Cantina, JC over there, who is the owner and creator of that wonderful cantina, he not only competes in the FCL, but he also is going to be hosting us as the Schmodown will be taping matches at the cantina. And what we are going to be doing is offering exclusive tickets. There's going to be about 50, maybe 50 tickets, maybe a couple more, but 50 tickets to a Schmodown taping, and they'll have specialized drinks. The menu will be open. It'll be full. The bar will just be open to Schmodown people, and you'll be able to watch 4 matches, and it'll be exclusive. Those tickets are also on sale now to the schmodownlive.com. Those tickets will go very fast because they're small, but there will be a title on the line on August 1st. There will be a title on the line on August 14th. We are not going to tell you which matches those are because we want you to be surprised. So when you get there and you see it, you're like, oh my gosh, I just saw so-and-so compete. So you'll be able to see these matches before they even air. So please go check that out, theschmodownlive.com, for tickets for the Spectacular and tickets for the Scum and Villainy Cantina. Another thing, let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask Mike this question.
Oh, gosh.
Because I know the answer would probably be yes. And then I'm going to ask Steph the same question. Steph, you go on a date with somebody. You dating somebody for a couple of months and things are going good, and you see they're speaking to your heart because they got on MeUndies. They got on MeUndies and they got on the Grogu. Come on, you going to be excited or what?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? If I get a little sneak peek of the boxers and Grogu's on it, now you're talking my language.
That is what you got to do, because what is something that you wear that you can't see, but it can make or break your day? It's underwear, guys. It is underwear. You probably have a lot of good days. Think about this. Seriously, there's a reason that your underwear is the first thing that you put on. MeUndies believes that you should be comfortable at your core. That is why they make the softest undies in fun prints, so you wake up every morning excited to put on your favorite pair. Say bon voyage to the undies you used to know, because your comfort starts with MeUndies. I love MeUndies. I wear them. I'm wearing them right now. They're fantastic. They're comfortable, and I don't even know how I did it before MeUndies, because they have pajama pants in MeUndies. I love the cut, and it is really, really just a smooth piece of clothing. You don't have to run out of undies. You don't have to worry about skipping laundry again with the MeUndies membership. Each month, replenish your basics and build your collection with styles that are anything but basic. Styles that let you be the truest version of yourself, right down to your core, and no pressure. You can always skip a month if you want. Plus, enjoy discounted pricing, controlled shipping, and exclusive early access. Love your butt and get the membership. MeUndies has a great offer for our listeners. For any first-time purchasers, you get 15% off and free shipping. You hear what I said? 15% off and free shipping. MeUndies also has their problem-free philosophy. If you're not satisfied with any product, and I promise you will be, for any reason, they'll refund it or they will exchange it. There's no caveats, no questions. If you want to get 15% off your first order and free shipping, then head on over to MeUndies.com/Sith. That is MeUndies, UNDIES.com/SITH. I love MeUndies. I absolutely love them, and I'm so glad. I'll be honest with you. It's one of the main things I love so much about the fact that they're a sponsor again, is because it's like I've been getting them anyway, but now they send me some stuff and like, hey, we got these new things. You want to try them out? And I'm just like, I'm going to bought them anyway. And I go and I've been getting them. I've been part of the membership, but I don't know. Have you tried these yet, Mike?
MeUndies?
Yeah.
I have not.
You need to, because they're comfortable. They're comfortable, and they're.
I'll tell you, because maybe that's something I'm looking for. Because I was telling Steph here, I don't wear underwear.
Oh, you need to see.
Because I don't like it. Because I don't find a pair that's comfortable.
These are comfortable. These are super comfortable.
Yeah,
we got to get you some.
In anything?
When I wear suits, I do. Yeah, when I wear like a suit or something. If I'm going out,
make that face again.
I like people to know.
I'm not gonna lie, Mike. I just feel like this.
Of course you did.
Anything.
I like people that are up next to me.
You're heavy in the shampoo and perfume right
now.
To
wear. I want people to know that only thing between me and them is a thin layer of denim sometimes when I'm out in my jeans or something.
All right.
Well, when I wear a suit,
jeans.
When I wear a suit, yeah, I gotta, because it's a different material.
Okay, try MeUndies.
I'm gonna try it. Maybe that's what I need.
I think so.
And it's got the pocket there.
It does.
My thing is just sit in it.
It does.
Keeps it fresh.
That's
just
right.
sit.
All right, listen.
Can I get Batman?
No. Okay.
Look, Batman?
Yeah, I think they do have Batman. But I want to show some stuff here. I want to talk about this. Patty Jenkins and Rogue Squadron, right? We mentioned it briefly up top. And I wanted to tell you guys
Well, tell us.
I'm going to tell you
I'm
what
in
exactly.
suspense here.
Well, first of all, I got to find myself.
Oh my God!
I find myself.
I gotta find myself.
That's going to take a long time, buddy. I've known you for 25 years.
I've never found myself.
For
But look,
real?
Patty Jenkins.
25 years.
Yeah, Patty Jenkins is free to tell
You
the
didn't know
story
that?
she wants to tell with Rogue Squadron. And this is from Star Wars Newsnet. Our buddies over at Star Wars Newsnet. They are a great site. If you have not gone over there to check out all your Star Wars news, you should. And they have their original podcast, they have original stories and editorials. They're phenomenal. We love them over there. But they report that Patty Jenkins is tasked with the responsibility of directing the first Star Wars movie. After Lucasfilm concluded the episodic saga with The Rise of Skywalker, Rogue Squadron is set to hit theaters in December 2023. The director briefly talked about her experience so far working in a galaxy far, far away, as well as her level of creative control on the film. She was speaking with Hollywood Reporter, and she was asked about how the development of the Rogue Squadron is going. And she said she announced it in a video, which involved her talking about her family's history as fighter pilots, most specifically her father. Jenkins proceeds to suit up in a very familiar orange jumpsuit. This is what we all saw in that video. And her quote was, "It's going amazing. I had been on it already for 6 months before I even announced that. So we're pretty deep into it. We're finishing a script, we're crewing up, and it's all going wonderful. I'm so excited about the story and excited that we are the next chapter of Star Wars, which is such a responsibility and such an opportunity to really start some new things. It's really exciting in that way." And then the other comment that she may have been talking about in general with working on Star Wars and when it's like her experience of getting full blessing of creative license, here's what she said. She said, "It's an entirely different way of working. I'm on the phone with all of them and doing Zoom meetings with everybody involved in Star Wars all the time. I'm fairly free to do the story that we want to do, but you really need to know who's done what, who's doing what, where it goes, and how it works, and what designs have been done before. It's a whole other way of working that I'm getting up to speed on." Okay, so there's a lot to break down here on
A lot to unpack, as it were.
but there's a lot to talk about here inside of this story, because I think the first thing that people are going to do, and I would not be surprised if it's already going on, it's like, here we go. This is what happened with Ryan Johnson.
Here we go again.
It's, with the Ryan Johnson
Arms
stuff.
up. Here we go again.
Well, because Ryan Johnson inside of the trilogy was, and again, not his fault. They said, JJ did this, you go ahead, do this. Yeah, stick to a few things, but do your own thing. This is a very different situation.
Yeah.
But
this is not the trilogy. This is not
a
Skywalker.
wedge in the middle of a trilogy.
That's the point.
Film.
She can be given the same free reign that
She's just
he
got to
had.
stick to the rules of the galaxy.
Yeah,
is what
but
she's
hers
saying.
is not the meat of a sandwich.
No,
Yeah.
she's not. She won't be changing things up. Main characters, and that's what pissed a lot of people off about the trilogy. Is like, well, this was connected, but you ignored it. That character that I know so well did this instead of that. And whether it's right or wrong that they felt that way, they were attached to a character that they had those thoughts. These should be brand new characters. She can do whatever the hell she wants with these characters. She can come up with it. I'm cool with that. The fact that she says I'm on a call with people who are involved with it because I need to know. But it's very similar to what you're talking about with like MCU. There's these things that are set up that if she's like, well, I was planning on doing this is where I was going to go with it. And if it doesn't contradict anything or it doesn't, then creative's going to go, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Go ahead and do that. But if it's like, well, you can't do that because if you do that, that offsets this that we either set up in this show or
it's going to
happen down the line.
The article, it's a little, I don't want to say like worrisome, the headline.
Yeah.
But you get into the article, she's like, I'm taking the meetings with everybody. This is fascinating. I do this, and this. So I think no one should feel worried after reading that article.
No.
There's also script supervisors where their job is to make sure, especially in a franchise like this, that it's connecting to everything. Yeah. I think people just are scrutinizing it heavily. It's the first one.
I think you're talking about the story team.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story team, that is for sure. That's kind of what I'm talking about, where it's a matter of she's going through it and she's got all these brand new characters. Like, well, this person, she created this person, works. Okay, where are they from? Okay, and if she starts saying, well, but then they knew Obi-Wan, and then like the Descent of Obi-Wan comes in, they're like, well, we can't do that. She's not saying she's going to do that, but that's the kind of stuff that she will talk about, and she'll But creative license for her means, okay, I have this story about the Rogue Squadron. The one fascinating thing she said is like that we're going to be tasked with kind of continuing the story, right? So you can take that a lot of different ways. It's like, well, Mandalorian did, right? Or something else did, unless she's specifically talking about after episode 9, because then it is continuing. They are the first that's going past that timeline. Like, what has happened since then? Where's and it's not involving the Jedi, but she's setting up
the thing. They have to tell us at least where
they haven't done that yet.
Yeah, there's no information.
Well, the script she said
I always thought
basically
it was
done.
It's
not even
Rogue Squadron was always in that period after. Wasn't it during the original trilogy? Because when the games were out, that was all during that.
Yeah. Do you think Hera could be in Rogue Squadron?
It all depends on timing. On when it is.
Or
not if it's after episode 9.
I think it's a give and take as well. I think Patty Jenkins would be telling her story, and the script people and the story people would be like, "Hey, this is a great character that's building to a pilot. She'd fit in. Patty, would you want to work with this character?"
Ultimately, what they did with
I like this character.
So one time they really did that with the canon stuff was what he did with Saw Gerrera, because Saw Gerrera, when they had this type of character in Rogue One that was going to do all this stuff, and Pablo Hidalgo was like, well, why don't we just use Saw, because this fits kind of what he did and the way we set him up. And they're like, great, let's just make it Saw Gerrera.
Just change everything about how he looks, but he's the same character.
What?
Yeah.
Do you, the Gully, believe? Gully.
I think that everyone is going to be looking at Patty Jenkins and everything she says more critically, because I know you love this movie, but because of Wonder Woman 82. I think a lot of people are in the same 84. We're in the same space. Thank you, champion.
You got it.
So it's not like Deborah Chow where everyone's like rooting for Deborah Chow because we saw her hit it out of the park. Now we're like, Patty, I want her to annihilate it in the best way possible, but I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, because movies are tough. Movies for Star Wars right now are tough. It is easier at them, and I shouldn't say easier, but because of the system that's been in place with Filoni and Favreau and the team that they've put together, there's a lot of trust in them from the fan base.
When did this announcement for Patty Jenkins' Rogue One happen?
During just Rogue Squadron. During that whole big announcement at the same time.
But when was that? Do you remember?
That was
probably about a year ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was pre-Wonder Woman 84. Okay, because I remember
it was right before.
Teaser alone, the fans were like, yup, sold,
right?
Her whole story with it's her father's a pilot, and it's like, but what I love about Patty Jenkins is how many male directors have you been asked to do Star Wars like, I ain't going near it. That fandom, I ain't going near it. Like big time directors that have hits. Yeah. Patty's like, I don't give. Yeah, you damn right. I'm going to Star Wars. Yeah. I'm gonna be doing a story about pilots. Well, I love the balls on Patty.
It was also right next to the truck full of money that landed on our doorstep. Also,
but the fact that also they went for like,
of course,
you can't tell me, because at that point they made that thing. Wonder Woman 84 was done.
Right.
That thing was shot. And you know Lucasfilm saw Wonder Woman 84.
I'm sure.
Of course they did. Same thing with Trank and all his Fantastic Four. You know they were watching that film. They're like, what's all going on over there?
Remember how tied in Kinberg is to Star Wars, though, and Kinberg was working on that. So I think Kinberg was also talking with them. Like, that's a whole other story.
So they knew exactly. I love the fact that they still went with her. It didn't hit for everyone. Wonder Woman 84. She made the movie she wanted to make. They brought her back for 3 right away. I mean, they signed her up right away for 3. Yeah. I think the film is in great hands.
And look, it's just Star Wars in general in films is. This is I keep saying the word easy, and I don't mean to, but this is a better chance for a director to take a shot at on a standalone movie that hasn't been connected to anything, that's not tied into the original characters, that's not a spin-off, whether it's Solo or something like that, or even Rogue One is tied into the original. This is the first movie that's just a standalone, all by itself thing that you might see familiar characters, but there's no expectations on it of like, oh, well, what's going to happen with so-and-so? We don't even know when it's placed. Right. So if I'm a director and at that point of it, that's the sell that I use as an executive to get it, because it's like, oh, I don't want to touch this thing because look what happened with Ryan Johnson and JJ. It's like, yeah, but they were connected to this thing. There was so much more attachments to it. If I was a director right now, I'm going and taking meetings with Filoni and Favreau saying, what episode of what show can I direct right now? Because that, to me, and that plays into our next story.
And the culture of the shows with the fandom is so much better.
Yes.
Because of how The Mandalorian executed it.
Yes.
The idea of them collecting all of these different types of directors for each specific episode is genius.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, look, TV.
It's TV, but TV film they're different animals.
Yeah.
TV is it's a village that's been moving. And on episodic television, I'm not saying like Bryce Dallas Howard and all these guys, they're hired guns. And the shows that I've done, TV shows, the director is treated about the same as I am when I show up as a co-star. I know it's different than this. They're big names.
Yes.
But with a movie, You're the captain
You're
of
the
that ship.
captain.
You are. A director on TV is a little different. Like Filoni is the captain of that ship.
Well, no, Favreau is, and then
Favreau,
Filoni,
and then
Filoni creative as far as but
Filoni's his lieutenant or whatever. But then the hired gun comes in, as it were, as the director of the app.
But that's why I think this show has been the massive success that it is, because when you look at Gallery, when you look at that series, the Gallery series, and they're all sitting around together talking. It doesn't feel like, because I'm with you. I've been on those sets where somebody just comes in
as director.
You just hired for that episode. You're following a through line. Thank you very much. See you later. That's the way the directors are treated for certain. But we're talking about network television, right? No, which is a very different animal. But this is like, you see them all sitting around. They're talking. They're having conversations, and it's like, no, we
want your voice.
We want your voice. Yeah. And I think that the other thing that I've been quoting this a lot. Bryce Dallas Howard says in that Gallery series, in the second one, of this was our sandbox. We got to play in this. We're looking around like we're making Star Wars. I mean, like, that's the kind of stuff that I think is working for TV, because there is this narrative, because you get to take a character in the beginning and build it and craft it.
Yeah, and I should kind of clarify, like on, let's say, network television, you're doing 22 episodes.
Right.
You direct it. You got to go in the editing bay. You can't wait for that person to finish the editing to get another episode. So you got to get another director, and he'll come back 4 episodes later. So it's like, this is 6, 8. It's easier.
And I think the standard from what we've been used to for the last 10, 15, 20 years is that's the way network television work. But network TV, as far as it's becoming, it's almost like obsolete at this point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is like, it's like going the way of the dinosaur. That's why they're mostly network is focusing on reality TV like they have been over the last couple of 10 years.
100% true.
The Mandalorian episodes are all mini movies. All the Marvel TV is all mini movies.
They're all mini movies the whole way through.
It's a brave new world.
It is. But going back and talking about, the other. Well, I'm talking about Spectacular all day long, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about where the hell is it?
Well, there's gonna be an expo with that too, isn't there?
What? Say that again?
There's gonna be an expo, right?
There is gonna be an expo. Expo for everybody who knows. The expo is all the competitors and hosts. They'll be like signing autographs, but they'll also be taking pictures and they'll have their own merch. But I think there's like 16 of these tickets left out of like 90, and you can go and you can, in the morning, you can go there and you can kind of hang out. You can take pictures, but there's going to be, last year or 2 years ago we did it. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So that's part of it. No, but this was the other thing. So
I had too much fun at it.
This was what I wanted to talk to you guys about, and that is the book of Boba Fett reveals. This is Tamura Morrison, who was having an interview, and this is from Collider. Reveals directors and new details about his upcoming series. He had this interview with expressco.uk, and he had this whole big thing. But the main thing he was talking about is who was coming back, and what he had said was that Robert Rodriguez, Favreau, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Dave Filoni are all going to direct episodes on the show. So right there, I mean, that's not a massive surprise, because it says it runs linear with the Mandalorian.
Yeah. So the only one I didn't hear is obviously Deborah Chow and then Rick Famuyiwa.
Yeah.
Famuyiwa?
I think he'll be back to doing more Mandalorian stuff.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And she's busy with Obi-Wan. Yeah. So it makes sense. And I think that this is something
Deborah Chow's doing all of Obi-Wan, right?
Yes, she's doing the whole thing. So that goes back to our conversation we were just having. So very different than what like network TV would
movie.
do.
Different. But I think they're giving her the time. I mean, that's 2 movies, basically 6 hours.
6 hours.
Yeah.
Is like,
I mean, if they're 45 minutes or so,
that's 3 movies.
Yeah, so that's massive.
Yeah.
But they've got the apparatus is already there. You don't need to, crew up a whole new crew. It's all the same people. So it's a little bit.
They're building established pockets of people like what Deborah Chow basically went to Mandalorian and said, boom, okay, this is the way we're filming this. This is this new technology. Oh, this is what I've learned from Filoni and Favreau. Okay, so now I get to do this. And when they were on set, her and Filoni were probably bouncing back and forth about Obi-Wan and saying, oh, I could do this and this and this. And then you saw what she did with those episodes. It's like, yes, give her a damn series. Go. Yeah. I wish they would do this for a couple of different people, give them their own series. And these directors, this is clearly the just another version, not another version, but in the same timeline of Mandalorian, which means you're in the same hands. So it's going to feel familiar yet different. So I don't know. I love that Bryce Dallas Howard, to me, really shined in season 2. like really shine in season 2. Like season 1,
3, she was the one with the Cara Dune and the encampment, right?
No, in season 1.
Season 1. With the
which I love that episode.
We thought Din Djarin was gonna get with.
Yes. Yeah, so, I love that.
I think she's coming back, by the way. That character.
I'd be so happy.
But
a little bit of
yeah.
Oh.
But you know what's funny about that episode was that the directing. I think there was a particular like a waitress in that scene that I was like, the directing, the performance, and there was a couple of people inside of that the performances that weren't great, and I was like, that can also be because of directing. That all went away real fast when I saw the other episodes. She did 2 in season 2, didn't she?
I believe
so.
I
have no idea.
I thought she did 2, but she definitely did the.
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, please do. She definitely did the Katie Sackhoff one.
Yes.
Which is when Bo-Katan shows up, and that was just one of my favorite episodes. It was great. So I love that they're coming back to do all this. And to be honest, Dave Filoni, who had some great episodes in this one in season 2. The weakest one in season 1 was the Dave Filoni episode.
Gunslinger.
It's like, hey Mando, hey Mando, hey Mando.
I only have her doing 2 episodes
total.
That's what she has.
So I think that's right. I think that's right.
But now in hindsight, it makes sense. Dave Filoni wanted to do that
2
episode
episodes.
because of the Boba lead up.
Yes. Well, that's where I wanted to get to, because from what I think, and this has not been confirmed by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that this is what happened. When they told this whole story at Star Wars Celebration about Favreau when he was pitching what he wanted to do, and I think he was a massive Boba Fett from what this story told, and he sent Filoni like Boba Fett socks or something. I can't remember what it was, but he sent him something, or maybe it was reversed. Either way, he was a massive fan of Boba Fett, and I think he pitched a series for Boba Fett, and it kind of turned eventually into The Mandalorian. So he always wanted to do something with Boba Fett. I think it's the reason why Boba Fett came back, and I think it's why all this reveal and they work together, because, again, in that gallery series, they show in season 2, they show a scene from season 1 when the two of them, and I love this because it shows you how much planning it goes into this and how much they already have planned out. And you think the audience will know. They knew it was Boba Fett. It wasn't like, let's show some boots and then we'll figure out who it is. Because a lot of people have done that. A lot of it happened in the new trilogy a ton of times, right? But that's not the case for this one. It was, no, that's Boba Fett.
Right.
And we'll show a little later on. We do know because Tamora Morrison has already talked about it. We're going to find out how he got out of the Sarlacc pit.
Oh.
So what the Book of Boba Fett, to me, signifies is that it's adventures throughout his life.
It's been since last week. Haven't you talked about where he's going to be? It's a very kind of, I don't want to say R-rated, but we're going.
Seems a little more adult.
More adult. So. I think I read that they were going adult. Kind of was like, interesting.
Mandalorian's pretty adult.
Yeah,
it is, but
especially because this is more if they're going.
Again, it's Star Wars though. It's got to be for everybody.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah,
it does.
Mandalorian though is, I think, the most.
Oh yeah, that Bill Burr episode where they shot the guy where they're sitting there at the bar or at the little cantina area. In
Steph,
that one.
what were you gonna say?
I forget now.
I'm sorry. I talked right over you. Jesus.
Did you not have enough chicken today?
Oh God, I haven't had any chicken today.
It's a lot better mood than it was last week.
Yeah, that's true.
Was that in a bad mood last week?
You came in hot.
It was some kind of mood.
Something happened.
The audience knew it.
What happened?
You tell me. I don't live your life.
I don't remember what happened. I drive.
I don't want.
I wake up and I come here. That's what I do in the morning.
I like that. It's nice.
I don't want your life. Got it.
You can't use my TV.
And you can't use.
Wait. And you can't use my TV. No, I can't watch my
TV.
Television.
He throws it out of the car.
He shakes. He's trying to grab it and shake it.
Everything. I'll be going out the door.
I'll be home on Tuesday.
So anyway, we're quoting Heat.
I can't believe I took you. I
took you off.
Got your train of thought.
Right.
Steph, though. Got a wink there, champ.
If the audience took a shot every time you cut one of us off, they'd be hammered. Right?
It's got to be a terrible thing. Back in the days,
let me tell you something.
Back in the days of DC movie news, they would Mike cuts Roxy off every damn time. Let Roxy talk. I'm like, sorry, my brain is firing away, and I always,
No, I get it. It's all right. So you don't remember what you were going to say? I'm sure it was actually pretty
Gone in the Galaxy.
God,
yeah, I think it was my best comment of the day.
Probably wasn't it? Everyone's like, Mike sucks. Make it Steph all the time. Mike sucks.
I wonder if I sold a Mike Sucks t-shirt at Spectacular, if that would work, if people would buy it.
Please do, because I need more fans. Yeah, I just need more hate. That's Spectacular. And I'll sign it, and you can come up to me at the expo, and I can sign it.
Yeah.
Why don't you say Mike sucks and then leave a blank space, and we can write in what Mike sucks.
You think when you play Chandra, you think that you're going to be the one that gets booed?
They love him. They hate me.
Are you kidding me?
They hate me. No matter what I do in this league, no matter how many belts I win, I'll never be like, well, he still didn't do this.
We'll see. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen.
I can defend that belt 5 times and still not, you know.
Thank you guys so very much for joining us here today. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done that, obviously if you're watching here, you should do that. Podcast channel, the Sith podcast channel is so crucial to the success of this show. You guys have been downloading the episodes. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, follow us on Apple Podcasts, wherever podcasts are found. Please do that. Check out Mike Kalinowski and Steph Sabra on the Twits and on the Instagram. Do all of that. And don't forget to get those tickets, schmodownlive.com, whether it's going to be the Cantina. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're in the general area, come check out these matches, the in-studio matches, only like 50-some-odd tickets, the schmodownlive.com. You might see Mike at one of these things. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
You never know. But look.
Do I have to?
No. But it's been a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to be with you here today. Thank you very much. Thank you to my crew. And, I don't know. We'll see you guys on the flip side, homie.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.